Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels have their sights set on the college football playoff in the 2024 season. And this is the key 3-game stretch that, in my opinion, is going to define who this Ole Miss Rebels football team really is this fall. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Be sure to click that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that bell icon as well so you get notifications of when we go live and when we drop new video content, which is each and every single day. Also, guys, check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. The following is brought to you by our friends over at MyBookie. Guys, head over to mybookie.ag. Use the promo code SECU at sign up to get a 100% deposit match of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Guys, anything you can think of to gamble on, they've got it over at MyBookie. Of course, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, the MLB regular season taking place right now. But, guys, they've got futures, they've got prop bets, they got parlays, they got spreads, whatever you want, they have got it. Guys, you can bet on sports that honestly I didn't even know exist. Also, they got a fantastic casino that you can go in there, play blackjack, play poker. All your favorite casino games are in there. And guys, it's a fantastic community as well where you can talk with other gamblers, see what people are betting on. It's a really good time. So again, if you're looking to scratch that gambling itch, use our friends at MyBookie over at mybookie.ag, promo code SECU at sign up to get a 100% deposit match of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Again, mybookie.ag, promo code SECU at sign up. Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels have their sights set on not just making the college football playoff, but maybe winning the whole damn thing in the 2024 college football season. And this is my key 3-game stretch for Ole Miss. The most important 3-game stretch. That when you look at this schedule, guys, the point in the schedule we'll look at and say, this is when we'll know if the Rebels are for real or not. This is when we're going to know, were they worth all of that hype? And as we pull up Ole Miss's 2024 schedule, guys, there's a couple of different options here, none of which lie in the month of September. Because, folks, you look at the month of September, you look at those first 5 weeks, and guys, it's virtually like the first 4 weeks, I should say, by the way. Don't let me disrespect Kentucky like that. But the first 4 weeks, Ole Miss basically gets a preseason, right? Furman, Middle Tennessee, Wake Forest, Georgia Southern, all respect to those programs. But let's be realistic here. Ole Miss will not struggle. So later in the season, when week 5 kicks into gear, right? And they've got, 8 straight SEC games, of course, 8 straight SEC games to close out the season. You know, you look at a couple 3-game stretches. Guys, hey, the final 3, Georgia, at Florida, Mississippi State. You look more so middle of the season, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and then Georgia, right? There's a couple of different directions you can go. Hey, maybe you are crazy and you want to go Furman, Middle Tennessee, Wake Forest, and that's going to be the 3-game stretch that tells us, hey, is Ole Miss for real? How'd they handle the offseason? How'd they handle all that hype? But guys, when I look at Ole Miss's schedule, because the question's going to be all summer long, all preseason, we're going to be talking about, okay, hey, they loaded up this roster. Lane Kiffin's the portal king. But Ole Miss football's had expectations before, and they've fallen flat. Ole Miss football, can they live up to it? Are they ready to take center stage? All these pieces come together. Most talented roster, arguably, in program history. Will it be the best team in program history? And I think there's a point in this season we're going to know. It's my key 3-game stretch. And, guys, when I look at this schedule, the key 3-game stretch, the most important 3-game stretch for Ole Miss that I feel like is going to define who this football team is and tell us everything we need to know is this 3-game stretch right here. Saturday, October the 5th through Saturday, October the 26th. So the month of October for Ole Miss, in my opinion, and yes, there's no Georgia in this stretch, but hear me out. Beginning Saturday, October the 5th, at South Carolina. The following weekend, you're at LSU. Then you get a bye week. You got Oklahoma at home to close things out. Now, here's what makes this key 3-game stretch so interesting for Ole Miss. they're going to be favored in all 3 games. Like, I feel confident in saying that maybe LSU is floating around a toss-up or it's a 1 or 2 point spread, but more than likely, if Ole Miss is rolling by this point, which, you know, there's a very good chance they are because they're going to go 4-0 in the first 4. Then they have Kentucky, which we all feel confident they should win. This is going to be the stretch where it's like, okay, here's your first bit of real competition. Here's your first taste of really difficult competition. How do you fare with it, right? Going to South Carolina. Again, some of you will turn up your nose and scoff, but that's going to be a game at Williams-Brice Stadium. God forbid that game is at night. Weird things happen there at night when the towels get going and Sandstorm gets rocking. And oh, by the way, let's not forget the Juice Wells storyline going into that one. That place is going to be a madhouse, and I'm telling you guys, it's going to be slept on. And this is maybe a segment for another video. When you talk about the most hostile environments in the 2024 college football season, very underrated. That atmosphere in Columbia that night is going to be scary. Let's just put it that way. Then the following week, speaking of scary atmospheres, you got to go to LSU. You got to go to LSU. And again, LSU's got their problems defensively. And I know that, hey, Lane Kiffin and company have been talking smack to LSU all offseason. If there's a game on LSU's schedule, maybe outside of Bama, this one might be even more so than Bama. If there's a game on LSU's schedule, they can only win one game, it might be this game against Ole Miss after what happened last year and the smack that Lane Kiffin and company talked for months and months and months on end. So LSU, you're going to get LSU's best shot here. And then 2 weeks later, you got Oklahoma, yes, on the home field. Yes, this is a game Ole Miss will be favored in, but still, it's the Oklahoma Sooners. It's going to be a difficult showdown. You know Oklahoma's going to travel well, right? They're going to bring fans as well. So that's going to be a difficult matchup. So here's the thing, guys. I know we've all got expectations, aspirations for Ole Miss, 11-1. Some people are saying 12-0. Can they go 12-0? But with the college football playoff, right? Just get to 10-2 or better. Just get to 10 wins, okay? Get to 10 wins. You're going to get in the college football playoff. If you're a double-digit SEC win team, you're in the college football playoff. I feel confident in saying that. So why do I say that? You have some wiggle room. You don't have to win every single game. So when you look at this 3-game stretch here, if Ole Miss goes 3-0 here, guys, in my opinion, all that hype was worth it. And Ole Miss is one of not just the best teams in the SEC, they're one of the best teams in college football if they're able to navigate this right here. And I don't want to overreact to what wins over like South Carolina would be and maybe an LSU with a bad defense and Oklahoma who might go 6-6 or 7-5 this year. But still, this is going to be the first big competition Ole Miss has played, right? You got a long, difficult road, especially throughout the month of November, but none of that is going to matter. None of that is going to have the same implications it will if you do not set the scene correctly. And how do you do that? You go 3-0 in this stretch. It's doable, no doubt, but you got to go on the road back-to-back weeks. Then you get the Oklahoma Sooners. It's on your home field, but still it's Oklahoma. If Ole Miss can get through this, even if you go 2-1 here, I think your chase to the college football playoff is still on. Now, you're going to have Georgia, right? That's going to be a really difficult game. It is at your place, but I'm just saying this 3-game stretch right here. And maybe people are watching this video like, bro, what are you talking about? Ole Miss is going to win each of these games by 20 points. Maybe they will, but I'm just saying this 3-game stretch right here, it's the key 3-game stretch because you're not going to lock up your spot in the college football playoff if you go 3-0 here. But if you have a lapse, if you're not locked in, if you're not laser focused at this point in the schedule, you can trip up and your college football playoff dreams can be dashed. So it is a pivotal 3-game stretch. It is a key 3-game stretch. In my opinion, it is the most important 3-game stretch, and I do think it's the 3-game stretch that will define Ole Miss football in 2024. So, guys, when you look at Ole Miss's schedule, what's your key 3-game stretch for an Ole Miss Rebels team that you could argue they're going to be favored in 11 of 12 games, guys? The only game they won't be favored in, that game against Georgia. Maybe LSU's favored in Baton Rouge, maybe, but still, this is an Ole Miss team. It's college football playoff or bust. This is the last dance, as they're calling it down there in Oxford. They put all their chips in, making the playoff this year. but there are pitfalls, there are traps in his schedule. What's your key 3-game stretch? What's the most important 3-game stretch, and the 3-game stretch that you feel will define Ole Miss football in the 2024 season? Guys, that's going to do all for me. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that bell icon as well so you get notifications of when we go live and when we drop new video content, which is each and every single day. Also, guys, check out the podcast, which drops daily wherever you get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. Until next time, guys, I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we'll catch you on the other side.